the end of the session, what's going to happen is you're going to have a clearer understanding of where your energy is going and a plan to start reclaiming it. Part 1, why boundaries fail. The high cost of weak boundaries. So let's begin by talking about why we even need boundaries. A lot of us don't realize how much a lack of boundaries affects our daily life. So maybe you feel anxious all the time, or you notice that you get irritated with your partner or your colleagues or people around you, but you don't always speak up. Maybe you keep saying yes to social events that you're really not looking forward to, or pick up extra work or shifts at work when you're already feeling really depleted of energy and drained. So these small decisions can really snowball into chronic stress, into burnout, resentment, and even strained relationships. So when I talk about boundaries, I'm referring to the invisible lines we draw. So that's internally and externally. And I'll explain a little bit more about that later. So these boundaries protect our well-being and define what we will or won't do, accept or tolerate. They aren't meant to be boundaries that shut everyone out. Instead, what I want you to do is to think of them as protective fences around your time, your mental space, and your emotional space. And without them, you might end up feeling exhausted or resentful. So with healthy boundaries, you can show up more fully for others and for yourself. And that's what we're trying to achieve. Secondly, there's a fear of conflict or rejection. So one of the biggest reasons that boundaries fail is fear. Specifically the fear of conflict or fear of rejection. So many of us have learned quite early on in life that if we disagree, or if we challenge someone, or if we say no, we risk making others upset. So that might have been in your childhood that you were punished for speaking your mind, or maybe at work you saw a colleague get ostracized for pushing back on unrealistic demands. And over time you sort of develop a reflex, which you say to yourself, if I say no, I'm going to be seen as difficult or unhelpful. And that fear keeps you from voicing your boundaries at all. Or it makes them weak, or makes you weaken them when you're challenged about it. And you might say something vague like, oh, I wish I could help, but I guess I can make it happen. Because you don't want the other person to be upset, which then in turn only causes you more stress. And that fear can really be powerful. Here's an important takeaway. Conflict or rejection can hurt in the short term, but living in constant fear of it hurts far more in the long run. And part of healthy boundary setting is accepting the reality that some people might be disappointed when you say no. And that's okay. So the third point is about people pleasing and guilt. And it's closely related to fear of conflict, which is the issue of people pleasing. So it's another common reason that boundaries fail. People pleasing often stems from a deep-rooted desire to feel accepted, loved, or valued. And sometimes we're worried that if we don't say yes, we won't be viewed as a team player, or we might not be liked, or have consequences for our promotions or job opportunities or relationship opportunities. We might have a fear of being alone or unloved if we don't show up for everyone else's needs. And this often comes with a sense of guilt. How can I say no when this person is counting on me? Or I feel selfish if I don't help. And the paradox is that in trying to not feel selfish, you might end up giving so much of yourself that you start feeling resentful or depleted. So people pleasing doesn't just sabotage your well-being. It can also damage relationships over time, because resentment and burnout usually slip into interactions and come across as frustration, passive aggression, or emotional withdrawal.